So today we have to talk about OpTic versus Sentinels, and in particular I want to take a look at Bind and Sentinels Attack on Bind, because this map ended up being the biggest defeat that Sentinels had ever had, according to the commentary at least, a 13-2 loss on Bind, which was actually their map pick as well. So we're going to dive into what went wrong on Sentinels Attack, and it is not pretty, and we will get to see why in some of these rounds. But first, let's take a look at the comps. Both teams running the Astra, Sova, Viper, and Raze. The only difference being Sentinels went with a Jet and OpTic went with a Chamber. Not a big difference to me. You know, like, they're kind of fulfilling a similar role, obviously do slightly different things. To me, like, the comp didn't really matter too much in this. It was more about what exactly Sentinels did. And let's take a look at the pistol round as our first round to look at Sentinels Attack. So, as we can see, we got Sentinels here, all grouped up, all looking to go towards this B site. This is a pretty normal thing to do on a pistol round in particular, but this pistol round is going to show a lot of themes that go on with this Sentinel Attack, and one of them is just grouping up and constantly going together in a big group, and we're going to see some of the problems that you might have with that. But what they actually don't know that they're running into is actually a 4-stack here. Only the Viper is on A. OpTic decided to go with a 4-stack on B, and obviously that's not great for Sentinels, as we shall see. So as we play the round forward, you know, very normal things. They start out towards there, but as you can see, there is a 3 grouping already of OpTic towards this side of the map. But as you can see, 4 of Sentinels are going in towards Hookah. They end up droning up long, no one following it, they're able to destroy it. And so we end up in this position here, where again, we have 4 of Sentinels already in Hookah, and we have Shazam here on his own. And I mentioned that this pistol round is full of themes, and one of the themes of Sentinels attacking was taking control of one of the ways of getting into sight, completely abandoning the other, and that coming back to bite them in a big way. So let's see how it plays out in the pistol. So here we go. Obviously, with the double duelist, they're going to get that entry onto site, as you can see. You know, they get the blast pack, they get the jet smoke with the dash, in they are. But the problem, of course, is that there is no control of long, so there's still 3 people sitting here, and of course we have the Astra here as well. Now Shazam is there on long and takes a quick peek, and I'm pretty sure he, you know, ends up peeking into these 2 players, which we'll come back to in a small while. But as we run this forward, the first thing we need to take note of is Sick, because this is not great, because this is Sentinels Astra. This is not an OpTic player doing this. This is not the OpTic Astras, you know, perfectly thinking about where Sick will land. This is a Sentinels thing, and Sick is going to end up getting stunned by it. And so even though Dapper is able to get Yay here as he enters the site, Sick is stunned, and so Marv gets a free kill, pretty much. And then here's what happens, right? Because if we come back here and just look at exactly what happened there, obviously, they had no control of long, as we've been talking about. And so what that means is this. It means that Tens looking this way, Zoms looking this way, and Marv is able to get an absolute free kill. And so, again, not ideal. So they get the free kill there, but they do manage to trade it out. And then even Shazam gets another kill as the Raze was trying to push and chase back on Shazam. And so they're in a 3v2, and all of a sudden, you know, things are looking pretty good, and the Viper is, you know, pretty far away still. So Crashies at this point is in a really bad position, right? Now he's the one that has to deal with people coming from both sides. Now he's the one in trouble. But Sentinels are going to make a bit of a mistake. So as we run this forward, let's take a look at what they do. So Crashies is, like, you know, as you can see, panicking, and they know he's there. And as I mentioned before, Shazam saw him. I'm almost like, there's no way he didn't see him. There's literally no way he didn't see the Sova was on long there. So he knows that he's there. The Sentinels know that Crashies has to be in this area of the map. So why on earth Shazam decided to run this way, I literally have no idea, because this should be a free kill. Now, let's think about, okay, there's a Viper as well. Where could the Viper be? Well, the Viper hasn't been seen on B site by anyone. You know, there isn't anyone shooting at these players at the moment either on this B site. You know, it could have been a full 5-stack, but they haven't seen the Viper, and, you know, there's no one shooting for the time being from the site. So you'd assume that the Viper probably was on A, and therefore has to be anywhere like in here, maybe up to elbow, or on the rotation, right? So these are the 2 areas that Viper is likely to be in. So why Shazam? I mean, if Shazam was holding like this for the rotation, maybe that would make some sense if he was a bit paranoid about that. But he isn't, right? He's running into Hooker. So he's just abandoning his team. And they have a free kill. Like, this is so free. You know there's a player trapped in this area. And if Shazam, just stayed here for a bit and waited for his teammates to kind of confirm he's still there and, we can kill him, then, and, just delay for me, Shazam can get a free kill. Instead, he decides to just run up here. I don't really know why. And that is going to cost them big time. Because as he's doing that, Crashies gets a kill on 10s. Crashies is then looking for Shazam, like, where is he? He runs back to long, like, expecting, like, well, he's obviously going to be there. He's not. He's just ran back onto site instead. And so instead, here we get a 2-on-2. Crashy spots Shazam, and I'm sure he's like, what is he doing there? Eventually, as Dapper plants the spike and he's trying to get away, Crashies gets that kill because they didn't deal with him. And now Shazam is in a 2v1. And as he tries to peek out on Crashies, FNS turns up and gets that kill as well. So this was kind of a good sense of what Sentinels Attack was. Some weird decisions, some, not ideal utility usage, obviously with the stun on your own player. Always, you're like forcing into one area a lot of people and not taking control of, certain parts of the map, and that costing them in a big way. This was all like what Sentinels Attack did, and we'll see this in some of the upcoming rounds as well. So now let's come to round number 3. So obviously OpTic won the round after having the better guns, but now it's their bonus round, and so Sentinels have the better guns. And we're going to see another 3-stack here from OpTic in Shower, and we're going to obviously see an A lean from Sentinels, and let's see how this one plays out, shall we? So we got like a boom bot in here, we got some utility going on in here between the various parties towards this. We get this grenade, which is well placed, and obviously causes some problems there. But then what's going to happen is Sick, completely alone, no trade available, after the nade decides to just run through a smoke. Considering you've got a better gun, pretty risky, especially when you're alone. There's no trade available as well. Not his best decision, I would say, and he ends up paying for it as Marv gets that kill as well. So now, they smoke that off. They get full shower control, and this is what I mentioned before, is that, Sentinels are going to group up. They're going to go as a group, but they have no control over shower at all. And so let's see how this round starts playing out for them as we run it forward. So they are going to get control of, the short area with the Viper Wall and the Viper Orb. They're going to take that control of there. But then they kind of all end up, if we pause the map here, they're kind of all trapped in here. And they don't really have anywhere to go because they don't have any, like, Sentinel to give them control of any of this either. So they have no idea, and as you can see, there is a flank coming around here as well. They have no idea where OpTic could be. They know that someone is in showers. That they don't have showers control, so there's probably someone there, and they know there's probably someone coming CT because that's probably likely. But other than that, they have no idea. Could be behind, could be coming from anywhere, right? It's a difficult situation to find yourself trapped in such a small space, and obviously they try to use their utility here pretty well actually to get out of it, and they end up with the spike going down. Now, Ye actually teleports back towards CT, which actually is going to work out for them pretty well. But if we just take a look here as we run this forward and the spike goes down at the map, just from this position alone, yes, they are in a 5v4, but they do have better guns, so you might think, oh, this is winnable for either side. But just take a look at the map. All the Sentinels players are in here, and they are being boxed in from every single way that they potentially could be. That is not a good thing. And this is the problem, right? When you only take control of one small area in the map, this is what is going to happen to you. And as we run this forward, it's not going to go well for them. Even though Marv, whiffs on that shot, he eventually kills Shazam, who was getting his dart out, I guess. And so now it's a 4v3, but similar thing. Again, we can take a pause at this map. Same thing, right? They're all trapped in here near the spike. And again, the pressure is coming from literally 4 different areas. And that's never a good thing. Never a good thing to be in. And at this point, really, like, just looking at the map, you can probably tell how this is going to go. And it goes as you might expect it to. And remember, this is the bonus for OpTic. This is not a round that they're supposed to win. They actually, what they actually catch 1 kill each. So Zoms gets 1 kill in a 1v1 fight, and Ye gets a 1-on-1 kill with Tens there as well. But then the double flank starts to come back, and again that pressure from all directions is too much, as you have to focus on too many different things. And so as Dapper is trying to readjust and get to a different position, FNS comes behind him and gets a free kill, and then Zoms is in a 1v3, and obviously they just trade out the kill and get the defuse. So this, as I mentioned, is kind of what Sentinels Attack was. Funnel in one area, don't have control of the map, get cornered in, get pinched from all directions, and end up losing the round. So now let's take a look around where Sentinels had a bit more success overall in what they were trying to do. They opened up with a bit more kind of slower map control, but then eventually they are going to group together and go towards A. But again, as you can see, no one is going towards Shower again. But we're going to see, they seem to have a plan this time. They seem to, you know, go in with more of a plan this round and have a better idea of what they were doing. So let's take a look and see how it goes. So they are going to start to go towards short. Obviously, they're going to follow in the drone here. You know, as the drone goes through, they're going to follow it. Six going to do something that annoys me, which is use his double satchel here, as you can see. But at the same time, like, Dapper has literally just walked to there. You know, pretty much the same point at which Sig got to, like, Dapper just walked there. And it does feel like, you know, when you have this Viper utility up, this is just something that annoys me that I see a lot of pro players do. It's almost like it's a second nature that you have to, you know, use your raised satchels to get across this point. But with this Viper setup, you don't. You can just walk there, and as living proof, Dapper is just walking there. And then when Dapper gets into that situation, what we're going to see next is he is going to Viper ult from this, and it's going to come out, and we get the Astra Wall as well. So this makes a bit more sense, right? To come at this in this kind of way, you know, all just funneling down short, because with this Astra Wall plus Viper ult, that makes sense. That I can accept why they did it this time, and as I said, it seemed to have a bit more of a plan to it. So as we run this forward, we're going to also see a really cool play by Tens, by the way, in a second. But as we run this forward, they are eventually going to get the spike down. Crashies takes a little jump. He sees, oh, there's a lot of people there. And Tens actually, I think, goes for the jump on Crashies, but ends up finding FNS instead, and then like lands perfectly there. But they do have a flank coming, but Shazam, you know, was wary of that. But yeah, he obviously just gets that kill. And so again, we've ended up in this situation where it's not as bad this time, because they do have, you know, more lamps control because of the Viper ult and the Astra ult. So it's not as bad, but again, they are being pressured from different directions. And I would just like to point out that, you know, Shazam came here and he tried to play a bit aggressive on this, and instead, had he just played, you know, more passively, potentially, you know, came around here perhaps, you know, and just watch this cross and make this person worry about if someone is there. If no one comes, then maybe he could have made this little run into Shower, which would have won the round, as we're about to see. If when we run this forward, you're going to see that had someone just been in Shower, they probably win this round, to be honest, because they would have just picked up a bunch of free kills. I mean, at any point, if anyone is in Shower, they pick up these free kills, but they weren't. So we get a bit of a Mexican standoff there with Tens. We then get this second Astra ult, this time coming out from OpTic, and obviously that is going to cut off the Sentinels players from the spike. Again, just another reason why if anyone was in here at any point, you know, they would have got that. They would have, look at this is free. They're not looking at anything else, you know, they're only looking in this direction. At any point, if anyone just would have walked out here, that's 2 absolutely free kills. And but not having that map control is going to cost them. And as we run it forward, we start to get some kills for OpTic. They start tapping the spike. The Sentinel players have to start running over the wall. You see the dash there come as well. They both die, and Sick ends up in a 1v3 after dealing with the flank of Ye. And, you know, what do you do, right? You can't really do anything, and obviously OpTic end up winning the round. And yeah, just again, that no map control, that no secondary layer to an attack, it was just costing them time and time again. Okay, so now let's come into this round, which is round number, it should be round number 8, I guess, if it's 7-0. And what we're going to see is a 4v4 that we got like dual raise ults that didn't really find much value at all. And so both raises ended up dying in some aggressive positions. And so we're in a 4v4 though, but as you can see, OpTic are all here. They are literally all here, because at this point, basically, anytime Sentinels had committed to a site, they just never went back, really, up until this point. They just never really ever decided, maybe let's rotate. And as you can see, they are in a bit of a tricky situation, because Tens is much further up than the rest of the team. And so we're going to see how Sentinels managed to play this out. And again, by this point, I think that maybe there was a bit of, like, you know, frustration on the Sentinels side because they start doing some things that I'm not a big fan of. Now you can see that there's a drone here coming towards this short area, right? And so that means that the rest of these Sentinels players feel like they can't push over here because of the drone, right? Because they're just going to get tagged by the drone and die. So they have to stay. So Tens is in a bit of a situation where really he should just be playing safe because his... And what we're going to see is as the drone comes in, initially he does, get back into the orb and tries to sort of play safe with it. But at this point, then they also get smoked off and shock darted, as you saw there. And Tens should really continue to play safe. But his teammates are still not moving. But for whatever reason, he decides to start pushing into 2 people and dies. Now, at this point, OpTic were all there. But as you can see, the Viper here had started to make a move back. And initially the Chamber had as well before there was more contact here and eventually came back here. Like, they were ready to rotate because they were like, well, they're just stuck there. They'll probably rotate, and we've got nothing on that B site, right? So the other players had started to make a move, but then Tens just did that, and so the players came back. And so now, what we're going to see, and again, if we come back to the map, Shazam has tried to make it up to Tens, but hasn't, and the other 2 are still further back. And now what we're going to see is just one by one, Sentinels are just going to run in a line, nicely, evenly spaced out to allow OpTic to just kill them without being traded. So let's see. So, as you can see, Zoms is trying to place down his stars, Shazam is just checking that. He's going to dart. The Viper stuff is going to go back up. That's going to actually isolate Shazam away from his teammates, and so they get the kill on Shazam. Dapper actually finds a kill on Ye, completely unrelated to the rest of it. So then, Zoms goes looking in for a trade, but it's far too late, and he has to run out of his own teammate's smoke to try and find it. He dies, and then, Dapper is now in a 1v3, and he has to try and, find something as well in that 1v3, and he can't. And so, each of them just died one by one, just running in a line there, no trades available. And that's what it was. It was disjointed. It was, I'll do it on my own. And, they were playing against a really good team, so you can't just do it on your own. And so I'm sure you've got the point by now, but let's take a look at OpTic's attack to see how it differs. Because OpTic, as you can see, are going to make an A hit here, and they're going to go relatively quickly. But let's take a look at how they manage to use their utility and, with a bit more team play, are able to take control of multiple areas and how that leads them to winning the round. So, here we go. We got the Astro Stars, as you can see there, and Victor is just going in. And Tens and Sick here are panicking because there's a bunch of Astro utility. Tens actually dashes into the wall, and they just have to fall back, and they fall back out, and Victor, takes control of Showers by himself. So they now have Showers control. Yay! Just from like a raise and a couple of bit of Astro utility, they have shower control, and so the rest of the team now is gonna go towards short, and they're gonna make this a pretty quick hit. That wasn't what I was meant to do, but as we go forward, then we can see there's an Astro Suck, so there is some delay here as well. They have the drone going off as well. They ping those players that have fallen back from shower, and in they go, and they just start planting, even though they know there's people around. They're just gonna stick this plant. Because they feel confident in their abilities here. Crashies gets 2 there. The 2 that were, kind of being caught on the back site where they had a good idea of where they are. Crashies gets those 2, but there is still a fight going on. Shazam actually gets Crashies, and then they get another kill as well. And all of a sudden, it's a 3v3, but then they are going to get this kill. But it's a 3v2. It's still winnable for Sentinels. But here's the thing. Here's the difference. Because they got that Showers control, Shazam has to clear Showers, because they know someone was in Showers. So they can't just go and try and defuse the spike because they'll just get swung on from Showers. So he has to go and clear Showers, and they have to split up, and deal with the problem in U-Haul that they know about and Showers. But as you can see, over here, Victor has run all the way back from Showers and is coming back towards short. And so what that's going to end up with is an absolute free kill because Dapper isn't expecting anyone to be there. And that is the difference. That Shazam was disconnected from his teammate because he had to check Showers because there was someone there. Victor had used that, and even though he'd given up Showers control, you might say, he'd used that advantage to come all the way back and get a free kill back towards Lamps. They end up in a 3v1, and they're going to end up winning this round, of course. And so this is how it went. And so that was the difference. We saw there that just taking that initial Showers control with just the raise and Astro utility was enough to basically delay, what Shazam had to do. They couldn't just go straight for the spike. They had to clear Showers first. It got them a free kill as well by just pressuring those 2 different sides of the map. And as we saw, you know, on Sentinels Attack, when they would just take control of like a small bit of area of the map, the OpTic's defenders were like already right on the site, knowing where pretty much all the Sentinels players would probably be, because they had like showers control, they had CT control, someone had already been on the flank over here, so they knew that pretty much everyone was in that area, and that makes it so much easier to defend when you can just focus all of your fire and all of your utility in one small area.